Good morning, students. Students, as in our previous video, I told you that what are biomolecules and what are their various types. So I am just recalling once again, biomolecules are those molecules which are present in living organisms body, or we can say that those molecules or those organic molecules which can be extracted from a living tissue or a living organism's body are called biomolecules. And I also told you that on the basis of their molecular weight, the biomolecules can be of two different types. The first type is called as microbiomolecule, whose molecular mass is less than 100 Dalton, while the other ones are called as macrobiomolecules, whose molecular mass is more than 1000 Dalton. So students, today I will discuss few of the microbiomolecules. Initially, I will talk about amino acids. So, students, I want to tell you that amino acids are those organic compounds which contain one amino group and one acidic group as substituents of same alpha carbon. Means, in other words, we can say that amino acids are a kind of biomolecule which are the substitutions of methane. I mean to say that since we know that what is the molecular formula of methane, CH4, means one carbon atom is there, and since we know that carbon atom has four valencies and its four valency positions, the hydrogen is substituted by some other functional groups. So you must have to remember one thing, that in case of the amino acid there is one alpha carbon atom, and since we know that it has four valency positions, so at one position one H group is there or one hydrogen is there, at second position one carboxylic group is there, at third position one amino group is there, and at fourth position there will be a variable group. Variable means a R group will be there, it is designated as R group. So here in the picture you can see that what is the formula of one amino acid. So it is representing NH2. NH2 is representing an amino group. COOH, it is representing carboxylic acid group. R is representing a variable group, or H is hydrogen. So one another thing I want to tell you, that depending on the nature of this R group, rest of the groups are similar in all amino acids. NH2 will be there, H will be there, COH will be there, and this R group is a variable group. So on the basis of this R group, or on the dependency of the R group, we can say that there are 20 different types of amino acids are there in the nature, and they are combining in different patterns and they can form different kinds of proteins. So simply I am concluding that amino acids are simple organic compounds which contain one alpha carbon atom, and uh, at its four different valency positions. One group is amino group NH2, second is carboxylic group COH, third is hydrogen, and the fourth one is variable group R group. Okay, and there are 20 different types of amino acids in the nature based on the different types of presence of R group. uh, One more thing, I am telling you few examples. I will put three different examples which will explain that how the R group, the presence of the R group forms different types of amino acid. Now if you will see in the first picture, now in the first picture you can see that the carbon, there is a one alpha carbon atom. At one end it has hydrogen, at second end it has NH2, then third end it has COH, and the fourth end it has hydrogen, and this is the formula of glycine. Now if you are observing, instead of R group in glycine, there is another H or hydrogen atom. Okay, so in place of variable group or R group it has hydrogen, while in the second picture you can see that instead of R group there is a methyl group, CH3 is there. Okay, COH is similar to the prior one, COH is the similar to the prior one, H is similar to the prior one, but instead of the fourth one H it has methyl group CH3. So it is forming one another kind of amino acid, and this is called alanine. While in third one example, you can see that rest of the three are the same. NH2H and COH are same, but instead of variable group, uh, it has CH2OH, which is known as hydroxymethyl group. So instead of R group, it has hydroxymethyl group, and this is forming another kind of amino acid, and this amino acid is known as serine. So we can say that here we can check that the dependency of the R group on the basis of different R groups. The amino acids may be of different types, and there are 20 possible amino acids. And one more thing I want to tell you that the physical and the chemical properties of an amino acid always depends on three different groups. One is amino group, one is carboxylic group, and the third one is R, or the functional group or variable group. Is it clear? Now, one more thing you must have to remember that uh, depending on the number of the amino group as well as the carboxylic group, the amino acids may be either these may be acidic, these may be basic, or these may be neutral. I will give you few examples of each. Now, basic amino acid example are lysine and arginine, while the acidic amino acid are glutamic acid and aspartic acid, while the neutral amino acids are alanine, glycine, as well as valine are the neutral amino acids. Is it clear? Instead of them, there are certain amino acids are also present. Okay, they are which have a specific kind of aroma. Aroma means fragrance. Okay, like phenylalanine is the one example, tyrosine is the another example, tryptophan is the third one example. These are some aromatic amino acids. Is it clear? Now, one and the last and very important feature which I am going to tell you that there is a specific property present in the amino acids, and this property is the ionizable nature of uh, amino group as well as the carboxylic group at different uh, solutions of different pH. I mean to say that there are two groups, COH group and NH2 group. COH group is carboxylic acid group, and amino group is NH2 group. Is it clear? Now they have ionizable property, means while we are dissolving these amino acids into different solutions of different pH, so they will show different types of structures. Now you have three different structures in front of you. If you will observe the structure A, here you are observing there is an amino acid CHR, NH3 and COH, means amino group, carboxylic group, variable group and hydrogen. If you are observing in amino group, it has one additional positive charge, means instead of NH2 it has NH3. One additional hydrogen is joining there, so that's why as we know that hydrogen has a one positive charge, so it has, due to the presence of one additional hydrogen, it has one positive charge, one additional positive charge. While if you will see structure C, figure C, so here you will see that CHR NH2, but instead of COH there is only COO, means one hydrogen is lacking. So one hydrogen is lacking means it is lacking one positive charge, so it will have one negative charge, क्योंकि एक one positive charge is lacking here, एक positive charge कम हो रहा है, so that's why it is opting one negative charge. And while if you will observe the figure number B, now I am zooming it. Now you will observe that in this figure, one positive charge is also present in the amino group and one negative charge is also present in the carboxylic acid group. If both of the charges are present, then this form is called as zwitterionic form. This form is called as zwitterionic form. So if somebody is going to ask you that what is zwitterionic form, so you can say that when both charges are present, positive charge in the amino group and negative charge in the carboxylic group are present, then this form is called as zwitterionic form. So this is all enough about amino acids. Now I want to discuss the another biomacromolecule, bio micromolecule, and this micromolecule is sugar. As we know that there are various types of sugar are there in the nature, and the most simplest form of the sugar is called as monosaccharide, means the smallest form or the simplest form of the sugar is called monosaccharide, and which cannot be hydrolyzed further, means if it cannot break down into more similar sugar component, means this is the simplest form of sugar. If you want to hydrolyze it, if you want to break it, if you want to split it, we are unable to break, or we are unable to split it into the, or we are unable to hydrolyze it into the smaller sugar content. Now these sugars may be composed of 3 to 7 different carbon atoms. I am talking about monosaccharides. Now monosaccharides can be made of either 3 carbon atom or 4 carbon atom or 5 carbon atom or 6 carbon atom or 7 carbon atom. I will give you one example of each. Triose sugar means which is made up of 3 carbon atom. Glyceraldehyde is the example of triose sugar. While tetrose sugar, erythrose is the example of the tetrose sugar which is composed of 4 carbon atom. Now pentose sugar, ribose sugar is an example of the pentose sugar, or deoxyribose sugar is the example of pentose sugar which is composed of 5 carbon uh, atoms. While hexose glucose is the example, fructose is the example, galactose is the example, and these all are made up of 6 carbon atoms. While heptose is made up of 7 carbon atom. Pseudo heptulose is the example of this type of sugar. Now one more thing I want to tell you, that these monosaccharides are also called as reducing agents. Why these are called as reducing agent or reducing sugar? Because they contain aldehyde group or ketone group which have a capability that they can reduce cupric ion to cuprous ion, means Cu2 positive को ये Cu positive में convert कर सकते हैं, means they can reduce it, इसका reduction कर सकते हैं. That's why these are called as reducing sugar too. Now the second kind of sugar is called as oligosaccharide. Now oligosaccharide is made up of either two monosaccharides. If two monosaccharides are joining together with the help of the glycosidic bond, then they will referred as disaccharides, means two saccharides are joining together, two monosaccharides are joining together, then they will form disaccharide. While more than two monosaccharides are joining together, then they will form either trisaccharide, tetrasaccharide or polysaccharide. Is it clear? Now here are some pictures or some examples where through which we can understand the what are the oligosaccharides. Here the first one example is disaccharide. Sucrose is the example of disaccharide. Maltose is the example of disaccharides. Lactose is the example of disaccharide. Here we are observing two molecules of glucose are combining together in case of the maltose. While in case of the lactose, you are observing here are also two molecules, two different sugar molecules or two monosaccharides are joining together. Similar to the sucrose, here are also two different sugar molecules are going to be attached. Okay, one is hexose sugar and one is pentose sugar. Now the another kind of oligonucleotides or oligosaccharides are trisaccharides like arbinose, raffinose, tetrasaccharide, sticose, pentasaccharides, verbacose. These are some other kind of oligosaccharides. So I am concluding myself today. So I hope so you learnt a lot about amino acids and the another thing, sugars. Still, if you have any doubt, but please concern. Once again, I will meet you in the next video. Till then, thank you, bye bye, and have a nice day.